Hi everyone, I'm Charlotte and this is Lead Differently in 5, your quick dose of leadership insight to help you think differently, lead more effectively and stay grounded along the way. So there's a big difference between managing and leading, and I get asked the question all the time, what is the actual difference? And if you're feeling stuck, overwhelmed, or like your team isn't stepping up how you would like them to, and this might be the reason why. You're not here to manage tasks, you are here to lead people. So let's take a high level look around what is the difference between management and leadership. So management is all about structure, systems, deadlines, performance. Now they're all essential and no one can argue that, but it's often not enough. And this is where leadership comes in. Leadership is something else. Leadership is about vision. It's about energy, behaviour and influence and the trust that you can create and build across a team. But most importantly, it's about how you show up day in, day out, especially when things get messy or uncertain. And the truth is, you could be great at managing a spreadsheet, but you'll still lose your team along the way. Because people don't follow tasks, they follow leaders. Let me give you an example. In one of my early leadership roles, I was focused on getting things right, reporting up, ticking off my actions, keeping every plate spinning I could. But I didn't notice my team were quietly disengaging. They did the work, but they weren't growing. They weren't stepping up as I would expect of them to. And looking back, it wasn't about them at all. It was about what I was or wasn't doing. I was managing well, but I wasn't leading. It wasn't until I paused and actually asked what did they need from me that things started to shift. They didn't want more check-ins. They just wanted more clarity, the trust, the space and challenge. Things you can't give if you're glued to a task list. And I see this quite often in the work I do from a leadership and coaching. Leaders caught up in the process, wondering why their teams aren't stepping up, thinking outside the box or being proactive. And it's not because they're not capable, it's because they're not being led. So here's what I want you to do. Once a day, just ask yourself the following question. What does the team really need from me today as their leader, not their manager? And that might sound really simple, but it changes everything. It changes your focus and your mindset. Because sometimes what your team needs isn't a decision or a status update, it's your presence. Sometimes they need you to ask a better question, to model the calm in the chaos, to name the one thing that no one's saying, or to challenge the person not wanting to catch them out, but to call them forward. And the answer will change, but the power is in the actual question. And let's be honest, we all, as leaders and managers, get stuck in the weeds sometime, and that's totally normal. You're juggling a lot, but leadership really starts when you lift your head and your gaze out of the day-to-day tasks. When you stop chasing the to-do list and start creating momentum. And that's how teams move from compliance to commitment, and how you move from pressure to purpose. So here's your reflection for this week. Where in work are you stuck in management mode? And what would shift if you showed up with a more leadership energy instead? And I want you to think about a person or a moment or something that's happened for this week where you could have led more and ultimately managed less. Try writing it down and then try to think about what one small shift or change could you have made, and then just start to notice what changes moving forward. If this resonates with you, please hit subscribe, share it with someone who really needs a little bit of inspiration, a bit of a change, a challenge. And thank you for watching. This is Lead Differently in 5, and I challenge you this week to stop managing and start leading.